Okay, we're all here. I'd like to report that executive session, we have one action taken.
We need to make a motion to go back in.
Well, yeah, I gotta make a motion to go back into executive session.
I make a motion to re-enter our regular meeting for the IBA.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Uh,
Okay. Anyway, report that one action item, which was the approval of minutes.
I'm sorry, what was it?
One action item, the approval of the minutes.
Approval of the minutes, thank you.
Okay, we have several approvals here to go over, and the first one is a contract with Ballou Contracting. Are we gonna do that today?
Yes.
Okay. Approval contract with Ballou Contracting to construct a water line in the corporate hangar to the corporate.
This is the water line that's been designed by Arcadis to extend from the water tank up on top of the hill at the airport down to the corporate hangar in order to provide for fire flow service to the sprinkler system at the hangar. We had 5 bids that were opened on August the 29th. Of the 5 bids, Blue Contracting was the low bidder at $256,299.37. The range of bids ranged from the low, which was Blue, to the high, which was Kim Davis at $448,540,000. So Blue was about half the price of the high bidder. And the other 3 were kind of spread out in between those 2. We have worked with Blue throughout the county multiple different times. They've done a lot of work for the water system. They've done a little bit of work for us in the past. They're a good contractor. I will say that we are currently value engineering that line. We're going to make a couple of changes to the line in order to reduce the cost. So even though we're approving the contract today at the $256,000 point, there will be a change order that will come back to you in November to reduce this cost. So hoping to get the cost down below 200 is the goal. But the value engineering is being done in conjunction with Arcadis and Blue. They're working together on the value engineering. And some of that has to do with conflicts with existing utilities. We're going to try to do a little bit of rerouting in order to avoid some of those conflicts so that we can shallow up the line and reduce the cost. If there's any questions on that, I'd be glad to address them.
Any discussion on this? All right, if we have no questions, need a motion to approve the contract with Ballou Contracting is up to $259,000.
$256,299.37.
I make a motion to enter into a contract with Blue Contracting to construct the water line not to exceed $256,299.37.
Second. Mr. Austin, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, Jamie, up to you.
Come before you today with 2 economic development projects that I would like the Industrial Building Authority to take action on. One is a brand new facility looking to come to Paulding County. It is our first medical recruitment. It is a project called the Dallas Memory Care. This is a facility dedicated to the treatment of Alzheimer's and dementia patients, 100% dedicated to those individuals. The company will purchase 4 acres of property located on Atlanta Highway in our Opportunity Zone, less than 1 mile from the new Wellstar Paulding Hospital. The project is estimated to be an $8 million investment. It will create 40 new full-time jobs. Average salary at the facility is $16 an hour, so a total payroll expected to be $1.3 million. The Paulding County Economic Development Board of Directors met at its September meeting to address the issue and the project, and have recommended that we do a payment in lieu of taxes for the project, the pilot, in the amount of 50% annually for 8 years. And that is what we're bringing today. I have Skip Dupree, who is the developer and manager of the facility. Skip has built 2 of these facilities called Westminster Memory Care in Birmingham, Alabama, and this is his first project here in Georgia. And we're excited because we believe this project will help really kick off the development of the medical corridor around the Wellstar Paulding Hospital. The other item that we need here, which we have Jim Woodward to talk about, is some bonds that will be used to finance. And he'll explain to you that these are not any kind of bonds that present any kind of financial obligation either to the IBA or to Paulding County. And he'll explain how that will work. So those are the 2 things that we need to cover, and I'll let Skip give you a better overview than what I did of the project.
Mr. Dupree?
Okay, that's Skip first.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Skip Dupree. I'm from Birmingham. I'm the developer and manager for Dallas Memory Care. And we're very excited to be coming to Paulding County and to Dallas to provide 48 beds that would be specializing in memory care for the residents in Paulding County. It will be a 35,000 square foot facility. The old world style. It will not have institutional looking, the stacked stone, hardy plank siding, gas lights. We'll have two pods or neighborhoods in the rear of our buildings that will be 24 units each. So we'll try to segregate the population into 24 units. And each one will contain separate living room, dining room. Each room will be about 350 square feet. They'll have mini kitchens in them, and we'll have state-of-the-art Wi-Fi, flat screen TVs, things that bring technology in today for the residents. And we will have cutting-edge colors, fabrics, color perceptions, lighting, things that people that suffer from memory loss need. And we'll specialize in that because it's such an underserved service for the whole United States. There's presently 5.3 million people that suffer from memory loss, and it's growing exponentially. And so we feel like we're going to do 10 of these in Georgia with these particular type bonds in smaller secondary cities. Paulding County, we did a survey before we came here, and Paulding County was the 3rd underserved market in the state of Georgia. Cherokee County was first, Noonan, Coweta was second, and Paulding was 3rd. So there's a huge underserved market here in this county for memory care. So we hope to be able to provide 48 people a needed service. I will say we will take priority in the hiring of our personnel to Paulding County residents. Those will be priority items. We'll also prioritize the purchase of our goods and services and any ancillary contract services with Paulding County vendors or suppliers. That's important to us. We want to be a good corporate citizen. We've got a good group of local investors that are part of our team. And so they will help blending in and promote and become part of the community to where it's just not an outside company or outside group that takes place. So I thank you for your time. Welcome any questions that you might have relative to this project.
You know, have the first man.
It's like Tom Bodett said, we'll leave the light on.
Do you work with Wellstar in setting up your facilities, or?
No, sir, we don't. We will. We'll have other feeders that we work with. Wellstar will be one of them. We'll have 5 respite rooms in each pod, and they'll be set up, furnished for orthopedic surgeries, people that have had shoulder, hips, or knee, and need a small recovery time. We'll have that. We'll work with various doctor groups. We'll work with various assisted living facilities that are feeders, because they'll get to the point with assisted living where their health has declined to where they have to go into memory care. But we'll have also a 3-night minimum for people that need respite. Caregivers that just need a break, that say, hey, here's 3 days where I can just take a break. And so we'll have 5 rooms dedicated that'll be furnished for that, to where to give caregivers just a little break. Now, what eventually happens is that the person, the resident, likes it so much that they'll eventually, we hope, convert over to a full-time resident. But this is sort of a 3-night, short-term, take a break kind of thing.
When would you start construction and how long would it take?
We're working through the various bond process, which we hope to have completed the bond paperwork, which has various levels and processes that it goes through. This is the first step of the process. We're set to have the bonds finalized with various allocations and TEFRA hearings and things that take place sometime in early to mid-December. If we hit that time schedule, then we would probably start first of the year construction.
What's the time frame?
12 months to build it. It might be 11, but we say 12. The good thing about it, the site that we're working on has already got been graded as the curb and gutter, so we can cut maybe 2 to 3 months of time that would be associated with site grading and that type of work.
Any more questions for Mr. Dupree? Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim Woodward's going to explain the bond issue.
Before we go on resolution wise, Jim Woodward, in this transaction on the Authorities Council, along with Tom Cable, brought in a special counsel, Butler Snow, David Williams is serving as bond counsel for this transaction. But what's before you is an inducement resolution. It's the first step in connection with tax exempt bonds issued for purposes like this, memory care centers, things along those lines. These are called private activity bonds. The IRS does allow tax exempt status on their bonds, which means the interest is tax-free to the bondholders. For certain type of projects, 501c3 type projects, memory care type projects, as well as governmental projects. The distinction between these type of projects, private activity bonds is what they are, is that there are a few more steps, and also they cannot issue the bonds directly. They have to find a conduit issuer, a government entity like the Industrial Building Authority or Development Authority to be their issuer, and then basically loan or lease the facility or loan the proceeds to the company to build the project. This is a requirement the IRS has. Additional requirements is something called a TEFRA hearing. That's something that they mentioned earlier. It's a federal act where there's a public hearing involved with these types of private activity bonds. That'll be occurring in the next 2 months as well. But what this resolution does, it basically tells the company that the Industrial Building Authority is going to be the conduit issuer for their tax exempt bonds. Moving forward with these tax exempt bonds, y'all will be the issuer. There are limited obligations of the authority. There's no financial obligation or risk at the authority level. No county, city, or state, or any other government entity is pledging any of this security towards these bonds whatsoever. The bonds are secured, in this case, purely from lease payments to be made from the company. So these are the company's bonds, and the bond holders can only look towards the lease payments and to the company to make the payments. It's a private activity bond as compared to a governmental bond. So there's no liability on behalf of any governments, including in connection with this transaction. It's, again, just purely done in the structure just to meet IRS requirements of doing private activity bonds. So that's the first part. It's basically telling the company that y'all are going to serve as a conduit. It covers some things about reimbursement, so they start the project prior to issuing the bonds, they can reimburse themselves. This is another IRS requirement. It outlines some of the job requirements that the company expects, but also in this case, the authority will own the project throughout the term of the bonds and will lease it to the company. And with the authority being a constitutional authority, they're owning the project. They're exempt from property taxes. And so this also outlines what is something called payment in lieu of taxes, pilot payments. The company will be making, since there are no taxes, since it's owned by a government entity, what taxes are, and that's what he mentions, 50% fair market value each year for the term for 8 years, and then 100% after that. And then once the bonds are paid off, the company takes title to the project and they'll pay full taxes from that point forward. So that's built into this as well, is that tax schedule, what payments and the taxes they'll be paying. From this point, this will give the company comfort moving forward. It allows bond counsel, in this case Butler Snow, to start preparing the documents. The issue of bonds allows for TEFRA hearing, bond validation, and then closing, estimating the incentive if everything proceeds as on schedule. But really, this is just the first step. Again, it's just a resolution, a motion to approve the resolution as presented, and I think you can read out the title of the resolution. Is all the action will be. Oh, sure, yeah. And also on the pilot payments, part of that is jobs requirements, and there's a clawback to extent is it 35 jobs? 38 jobs. 30, yeah. So say they don't have meet what they expect in jobs, percentage they fail to meet that level, the percentage of pilot payments goes up, so their payments go up. So there's a callback to what we call those to the extent they don't meet their jobs requirements.
Any more questions for them? Any questions? Jamie, you have anything else to add on Dallas?
Not for this project.
Okay.
Do you want to
Let's do this project.
do the second project? Our second project is Peachtree Protective Covers.
Let's do this project then. Any discussion among the board on this? Everybody okay? We need an approval on an inducement resolution to allow this bond issue to go forward. Do I have a motion for that?
I make a motion to approve the inducement resolution of the Paulding County Industrial Building Authority, approving a proposed financing of a senior living project in an amount not to exceed $8.5 million for the benefit of the Dallas Memory Care LLC, I believe is correct, and authorizing the execution of an inducement letter.
Do I have a second on this?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye. David Austin abstaining, the motion passes. 4. Okay. Jamie, next project is the Peachtree Protective Cover.
Yes, sir. Peachtree Protective Covers is an existing manufacturer located in Hiram. They're near the intersection of Rosedale and Gilbert Parkway. The company makes walkway covers, canopies, sunscreens, metal wall panels. They've been here since 2000, and they are in a growth expansion phase. The issue, like so many other companies we're working with in Hiram right now, is that they are on septic, and they need sewer in order to continue to grow. They currently have 72 employees at the facility here in Paulding County. Because of their situation with the septic and not being able to grow, they have 13 additional employees that are currently located over in Powder Springs. So they are looking to expand the facility, consolidate those 13 jobs over here in Paulding, and add anywhere from 20 to 30 new jobs to this facility. They will double the size of their manufacturing space. They'll go from 37,500 square feet to 75,000 square feet. They will be bringing in new equipment for the facility. They will be adding, again, those new jobs. It's about a $1.7 million project, but none of this can take place unless we were able to get them sewer. So we've been working with the Paulding County Water and Sewer Department and adjacent property owners to figure out a way to be able to get sewer to their facility. And the estimate right now is that project will cost about $124,000 to bring sewer to the building and site. The company has agreed to pay for that cost of the sewer. In exchange, one of the things we were talking about even before the sewer issue and how that would be paid for was some incentives to assist them to grow that facility and bring those jobs from Powder Spring over here and add those new jobs and add them to the facility. We had talked about a payment in lieu of taxes for the project, going through the IDA to do that. As you know, the Paulding County Board, Paulding County Economic Development Board of Directors met a few weeks ago to address this issue and had recommended that the company receive an 11-year pilot. And through the course of that 11 years, they would be making payments of 40.8% of the taxes due. That will help them to recover over that 11-year period the cost of the sewer line, legal fees they have to do in order to get the abatement. So for them, it helps with the cost of the expansion that gets them the sewer. What I'm looking for today, since we don't have any kind of formal agreement, is at least some type of resolution that the IBA is willing to move forward with some type of arrangement, a pilot based on what Paulding County Economic Development approved the other week, which would be, again, 11 years, payments of 40.8% over, and of course, the agreement. And as always, there would be provisions for what we call clawbacks, meaning job performance, that they would have to maintain the facility, the new jobs created, the investments made. But we need to be able to give them that assurance that we're going to move forward with it so that they can go and pursue the sewer and pay for that and then move forward with building construction. Any questions?
Jim, is there any difference in this bond issue and the other that you have described? Or
Main issue is the type of project it is. The first one qualifies for tax exempt financing. The other one is taxable financing, so they can go out there and get their corporate loan. And so there's not going to be a tax exempt component, no test for hearing, and no IRS requirements for the second bid. So,
How many new jobs was it?
For this one, we're looking at about 43 in Paulding County.
Total, that's the Powder Springs plus.
13 coming over from Powder Springs, and as many as 30 more additional jobs that would be new as a result of the expansion.
And they have 70 now?
72. So we're talking about a total of about 115 employees in the facility. Which, for Paulding County, that would be the third largest manufacturer we have.
Okay, so what we're looking for is to approve a resolution to give these, protected, cover some copper from this potential for a bond.
Right, subject to a formal agreement, terms and conditions that are consistent with what we have done for other manufacturing projects here in Paulding. Obviously, again, that it's not saying you've done it, but we're moving forward to put that agreement together based on the 40.8% payment for the years pilot.
Okay. All right, I guess the board has heard all the discussion. Any further discussion on the board? If not, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I make a motion to authorize the executive director to enter into negotiations with Peachtree Protected Recoveries for a transaction involving a bond for title with lease payments in lieu of taxes.
Okay. Do I have a second? Any further discussion? If not, call the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. That appears to be all the items I see on the agenda. I guess the next item is an adjournment. So moved. Second? Second. All in favor?
Thank you.